All right. Welcome everyone to Tuesday Night Talk with Executive Director Lee Reed of the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. I am Melissa Jean Baptiste, the Communications Specialist with the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Lee to give us a brief introduction of the ACRB and our special guest tonight.
Thank you, Melissa. I want to just let you know how excited I am tonight, to be speaking to Kaylin Strahan, because, it's been a long time coming. But before I get into that, I'm Lee Reed, the Executive Director of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. The Atlanta Citizen Review Board is charged with investigating, receiving, investigating, and adjudicating citizen complaints against Atlanta police and corrections officers. The board provides that opportunity for citizens to be involved in this important undertaking of how do we hold officers accountable. They review the independent investigations that the staff delivers to them, and they make the decisions that go over to the police department. With that being said, I just want to bring up, on our board, we have 15 board members who are appointed by different entities. And the highlight of tonight is that we have one of our newest board members, our youngest board member to be ever appointed to the board, Ms. Kaylin Strahan, who is going to be giving us some information about why she wanted to be on the board, why she wanted to be a part of this. So we're extremely excited about it. I know I'm extremely excited about it. Everybody I talk to is extremely excited about it. So with that, I'm going to go on and stop for a minute, and then we can get started. Well, you know what? I'm going to let Ms. Strahan tell us who appointed her. So we're going to let her jump on in and just talk about all of that, where she came from, who appointed her, how she got to this point. Melissa,
Okay,
back to you. Well, Ms. Strahan, to you.
I'll just introduce myself first. First, I would like to say thank you so much for having me on. I am ecstatic, just like you all are. I am in the same boat. I am so excited to get started, and I can't wait. But a little bit about myself, and I loved your introduction, but I am Kaylin Strahan, a business administration major concentrating in speech communications and minoring in marketing here at the illustrious Atlanta University. I am 19 years old, originally from Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. And I'll tell you a few things about the things that I did over the summer. I interned with a multi-million-dollar company, natural hair care company, Mael Organics, and under the leadership of Mrs. Monique and Melvin Rodriguez, and they are amazing. So if you haven't tried Mael Organics, please do. I love their mission statement, and yes, I love it. I love everything about Mael Organics, and I had an amazing time. I learned so much, and that definitely is one of the stepping grounds that will help me to be an amazing addition to the city council. Last year, I served as the freshman class president of my class, and I am still serving in the community by doing this and by also being on the women's varsity track and field team. So the first practice was supposed to be tomorrow, but it's actually Monday, and that is a blessing from on high, so I can actually get some sleep tonight. But one more thing about me, I am the author of Embrace YOU. It is called Embrace Yourself, Embrace Your Origin, and Embrace Your Uniqueness, because only you can be you. I wrote that book when I was 16 years old, and it came out when I was 18 years old. It was birthed out of when I competed in the Miss Black Illinois Talented Teen pageant. And although I didn't win the ultimate title, I won Miss Congeniality, which I was blessed to have won that position as well. And my platform was Embrace YOU. So after that, I didn't want to leave it alone because I was so passionate about it. So I said, let's write a book about it. So I came out with the book, and it is out. It's on Amazon. It's on my website, KaylinStrahan.com. And it is also something that is very close to my heart and that I'm passionate about. So when I am encouraging others to embrace themselves. I am also encouraging myself to embrace myself and be the best version of myself as well. So thank you so much.
That
Okay,
is so
okay.
awesome. You
Now,
are, you
Melissa,
have been very, very busy. We're so happy to have you. And you are like the perfect example of someone to be, like really representing this age demographic. I am on the latter end of that group, but you are really like everything that this generation really stands for. You are very motivated, and I'm really happy to see just all of the things that you've done. So before we get into who appointed you, I want to go ahead and really make sure and let everyone know how this great opportunity came about and how we are able to see like it happen and see the product of it here with our first appointment of Miss Kaylin Strahan. So on Monday, May 3rd, 2021, the Atlanta City Council passed an ordinance to amend the city's charter to designate 2 youth-serving organizations that would each appoint a member to the Atlanta Citizens Review Board, the ACRB, within that 18 to 30-year-old age group. So those 2 organizations are Street Smart Youth Project and the Atlanta University Center Consortium. Kaylin is the first of the 2 seats to be confirmed by the Atlanta City Council to serve for a term of 3 years. And Lee, you know what, with everything going on, just as Kaylin stated, she had a busy summer last year, but last year that just passed, it was a crazy, crazy summer for everyone in Atlanta and around the nation. And, within these past 15 months, we're dealing with COVID, the protests, unrest, and demand for change in policing post George Floyd. Adding this demographic is so important because they made up a really big population of the people that we saw in the streets demanding justice last summer. So I'm very, very happy to welcome you, Kaylin, to the ACRB. I know you'll do great things and we'll see great things from you. And I know we're going to ask you just a few things about your organization and your involvement and how you got appointed. Just getting into everything as far as that organization that chose you and how you came about to us.
thank you, Melissa. Kaylin.
Sure, thank you.
So we know you came from Clark and the Atlanta University Consortium, Atlanta University Center Consortium. So for those who may not know, what exactly is that?
Yes. I love that question. Well, it's the world's oldest and largest consortium of historically Black colleges and universities. And it is comprised of not only my illustrious university, Clark, Atlanta University, but also Spelman, Morehouse, and Morehouse School of Medicine. It's a community full of intellectual individuals, and we pride ourselves on promoting inclusion and diversity. So all of our schools in the AUC work together to always create a voice for everyone, a voice for the people, especially because they are HBCU, so a voice for Black people specifically. I am so excited to be a part of AUC and even the library. We have the library where all schools are welcome to come, and they do. I mean, you meet anyone they do. Yes, you meet anyone from any school at the library because it is the AUC library. So that is also another amazing thing that promotes diversity and inclusion on our campus, and not just the name AUC, but we actually practice that here every day.
As a graduate of Morehouse College, I remember the library and the walk to the library and just the everything that goes with it. So I'm not going to get into that, but it was one of those wonderful times. You're learning and experiencing all at the same time. So it was great.
We're all HBCU grads, Lee. There's no secrets here. We all know what you're talking about.
That's right. That's right.
We all, and Kaylin is jumping into that life. So I'm so happy that you're getting to like really be on campus and experience HBCU life for real and campus life for real. Because being virtual is not where it's at. Like not from that experience at all.
No,
that's
not
what
at
you
all.
want to say,
not
Lee.
at all. So, Kaylin, what really piqued your interest about wanting to serve on the on the ACRB? I mean, I know someone must have approached you at school, or you saw the advertisement for it or something, but how did you get to this point of saying, okay, this is something that I really can get down with?
Right.
Yes, I remember the day that I received a call from my Dean Torres, and I was doing something track related, and it was actually our picture day for track. So of course I was already running things at one time, and it was like when I got that call, everything stopped. So I was like, oh my goodness, D Torres is calling me. What's happening? What's going on? So when he told me that, I was nervous. I was like, whoa, what's happening? But when he told me what the position was and how close I was to being able to say, yes, this is mine, I couldn't do anything but first, thank God. That's just number one. And then second, agree to actually being a part of something so amazing. I know that the ACRB ensures that the city department, that city departments are directly responsible for public safety. And because I've seen the gray areas in police brutality and everything that the city covers, I understood that my role was very important. And because I not only spoke for Clark Atlanta anymore, I spoke for Morehouse and Spelman, the schools of the AUC. It was very important that because I know who I am, I know my background, I know that I have a strong foundation, that I could lead by example. And I know that because of the family upbringing that I have and my mom, I have to give her a shout out on here because I know she's watching. But just because of
That's
knowing
right,
where yes, I know she's
that's right, Mom.
but just I knew that I would be a very good candidate for this position. And because of that, I could not deny it. And I love being a part of the community. I love serving the community. And I feel as though my life's purpose is to be a servant to people, just individuals, and to help others. And my mother and I share the same values. So I knew that since you have this chance, since God is placing you in this position to do what he wants you to do, then don't say no, say yes, and whatever comes with it, take it like a champ and just do the best that you can. And that's why I'm sitting here today.
Well, let me tell you, I love your confidence and I love your energy. I mean, that those are foundational things that's one that's going to help you be successful as an ACRB board member, but just in life, period. I mean, so that's great. Thank you, to your mother for producing and making the person that you are. No doubt about it.
For sure.
No
She
doubt
has
about it.
that word that you always use, Lee, that I feel like you always speak on as far as the officer. She has that integrity, that, you know, like that real morale that you can't teach. And,
Right.
you know, like you grew up with it. It's an upbringing, and you're just like, really, we're really happy to have you. You're a really great.
Thank you so much.
That's right. That's right. So, let me tell you, Councilmember Dickens a few years ago had questioned why we didn't have any younger folks on the board. And that was maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And since he had raised that question, we started asking ourselves, why don't we have any younger folks on the board? So it took us a while, and we finally got to this point because we realized that there's a certain perspective that needs to be included when we're talking about how do we hold officers accountable, but also have the input from everybody in the community. So with that, what do you see yourself bringing to the board as a younger person in the community, that perspective?
Yes, thank you for that question. Well, you answered it. I bring the younger generation's perspective. Like I stated in my last question, I know for a fact I am someone who loves people. I love people. I love to talk to different people, to get to know different people, and just their backgrounds, because I know for a fact that we are all different. but we have so many similarities. So although this person is from here, we may like the same things, or although we don't like the same things, we could be from the same place. So we are all here for a specific reason, and we're all here at this time for a specific reason. So I feel as though not only bringing just a perspective of the Clark Atlanta University population, but me being the individual that I am and just sharing my opinions and my values with the surrounding schools, such as Morehouse and Spelman, and also getting to know what their opinions are as well. Because like I said, this is not about me, and it stopped being about me a long time ago. I think I got a second of excitement and I'm still excited, but then I had to really get into the reality of things and say, okay, God is the vessel, but you have to listen to all of these people in order to make the right decision. And I am very used to that. So that doesn't faze me at all, but I love to be the individual that can bring other people together, such as our surrounding schools in the AUC, and just make it more of a family thing. And so having that perspective and being able to be the person that brings that perspective to the table of all the younger individuals, and not even the younger individuals, but faculty, staff, administrators as well, and even professors at all the schools, which brings over 8,000 voices. So to have that type of pressure on me, like, okay, Kaylin, not only do you have to speak for Clark, but you have to speak for Spelman, and you have to speak for Morehouse. And usually some people would see that and say, oh no, I won't do it. It's not for me. But just because I was placed here for a specific reason, like I stated, I know that I am the person that God placed in this position, and I will not fail him. I will try my hardest to be the best that I can be, while also bringing everyone that I can bring with me to be successful as well. So not only just perspectives from me, but also the perspectives from my Black queens and kings as well, from all the universities that surround Clark as well.
You know, you mentioned something that's very important to the work that we do, and especially as a board member, the sharing part. You know, you'll be bringing in perspective, but you'll also be carrying out information and a perspective from the board about what it does, how it does it, and something that people, the AUC community and the community as a whole, can believe in and trust in. You know, so I think I love the way you answered that, because that bringing the information in and taking the information back out to the communities is very important, you know, because we have to ensure that one, people have to know us, to trust us, right? And then once they trust us, they utilize the system to get the justice that they want, right? So, I mean, I love the way you explained that. That is great. That is great.
I'm really excited about how you know the responsibility that you have, but it's like, you know, to whom much is given, much is expected, and you're just, you know, going in stride with it, and you're really owning that responsibility of what the board, being on that board, really means. It's just hard work, but outreach is definitely a lot of what we do, right, Lee?
That's right.
And just because we do have a lot of people joining us today, like, we can just briefly go through that process of explaining the complaint side and how we do that, and then where Kaylin would come in this whole equation, because a lot of people don't know. They understand now that we have a board. Kaylin is the youngest person on this board, and they listen to complaints, but like, because we have this audience and we have that time to really explain it, Lee, and you do it so well, I just want to go from, like, you know, from start to finish, just, you know, giving us that real example of how that works.
Okay, yeah, let me give you the high level of how it works. A citizen has an encounter with an officer that he or she believes that the officer violated a policy or treated them unfairly. They would contact our office. Once they contact our office, and they state that they want to file a complaint, and if it falls within our allegations that we're able to accept, then we would conduct an investigation. Our investigations are independent of the police department. We start them from the very beginning of taking a statement from the citizen, gathering any other evidence, documents, body-worn cameras, any information that we would need to conduct an investigation. We would gather that as we go about the investigation.
Right.
We take the statements from the officer, from any witnesses, any witness officers. And once the investigator has compiled all of that information, all of that evidence, then they would write a summary of it. And sometimes the summaries can be, the investigations can be this thin to this thick. It just depends on how complex, what all is involved in that. We take allegations from excessive force to things like searches and seizures. I mean, to searches, to false arrests, to inappropriate language and failing to provide identification. There are a number of different policies that we would investigate. So once the investigator has written a summary, it's reviewed, and then it's showtime for you, Kaylin, and the board. At that point, it's yours. We pass it on over to the board. You review it. You and your co-board members will review the investigation at a board meeting. And then once you've reviewed it and asked any questions that you may have or to have discussions about it during the board meeting, then the board will vote on it. That vote is the official decision of the agency. And then that goes over to the police department. And then the police department will review it and they will make their disciplinary decision. So, for example, if we sustain a complaint, the board sustains a complaint, it go to the police department and sustain, meaning that the officer, there's enough evidence to say that the officer violated the policy. It would go to the chief, and then he'll and his staff will review it, and they'll make a decision as to whether they're going to discipline the officer or not. Now, one thing I failed to mention is that if we sustain a complaint, if the board sustains a complaint, the board will also make a disciplinary recommendation to the chief as well. So, and we track all of that information because we want to make sure that the police department is following its own policies and providing proper accountability and discipline to officers when they need it. And then this is where you come back in again, Kaylin, that sharing part, taking that back out to the community and saying, this is what's happening with the police department. This is the information that I have related to the police department. Here are some tips that I learned from this work on the board that can help us when you may have an interaction with the police officer. And most importantly, you have a place that you can go to file a complaint if you believe that the officer has done something wrong. That's what we want people to understand. And that's why we're so happy that you're on the board for all of those reasons, though. Yes.
And another point to stress is that it's so important that even though it does go through the police department and they have that final say, that we keep a record, because that's also the important side of it. Lee always mentions that we have the opportunity to really create a record and let people know that even though there may be a criminal investigation that may or may not take place, there's always the administrative investigation that we conduct, that we make sure is on the book. So something doesn't happen, unfortunately, about it this time. God forbid that this officer gets into another type of situation or altercation with the citizen. We already have something in the books on them. So that's the point that we really want to stress when we do outreach, the importance of it, even though it is only within the Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta Corrections Department that we deal with. We give resources. Lee always lets people know, within their department, who they can go to and file a complaint if they do not have a citizens review board, because we're special. You're one of like a selected few within the country. Like they're not, every state and every city does not have a citizens review board. So
and we're the only one in Georgia.
So, yeah, we're the only ones in Georgia. We visited Athens a few months ago because they're looking to build some type of review board. And that was an experience learning just the different types, because we have the investigative, right, Lee? Like I'm on the line with you, Kaylin. I'm learning as you go along. So there's different types. Yeah, there are different types of review boards that cities can choose to have. So it's really important, and we're just really happy that we have you. We're bringing in that younger generation to really be able to, and we're calling on you definitely to do that call of action when we go out there, because we do a lot of outreach. We may take some of your Saturdays, but it's with good cause, and it's only in the morning, some weekends, but it's really with great cause. And we think that it's really important to just get it out there. It's something that one of our other team members say, it's better to have us or to know us and not need us, than to need us and not have us. So it's something that we really want to make sure that we get out there. And I think you are a great addition. And I can't wait to meet the other 18 to 30-year-old that we'll have on the board to work with them. And I don't know, I think our time is about up there, Lee. So,
we are about at the end right now.
And
but
I saw that we had,
what's
go
that now?
ahead. Nope, go ahead. I'll get to it in just a second.
Oh, okay. Kaylin, again, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today, and especially for joining the board. It's going to be an exciting ride for you. I mean, I think that it's going to be eye-opening, and for us, it's going to be refreshing, because you're going to see things that we may not see, and you're going to add that perspective that will only benefit the work that we do. So we're just excited, and we're looking forward to it. And the only unfortunate thing is we're still doing everything virtual, but one day we will be back in person.
Right.
Because it gives it a different flavor to it. But again, as you go along, you'll learn more about our mediation program, and you'll learn. Melissa mentioned about our outreach that we do. I mean, there's a number of things that we are involved in, and we're always looking for more ideas, better ways to connect with the community.
Right.
So I'm saying to you, and I'll say to you many times of your tenure on the board, if you have an idea or a thought that we can use to benefit the citizens, that can benefit the agency, don't be shy. Well, I already know you're not shy. Definitely raise it so that we can talk about it and try to implement it. And that's what I'm gonna say. I guess is it time for us to close now?
It is. So, I mean, if you have any questions, we want to thank everyone that attended today. I think that's the Kaylin effect. But thank you for everyone that came out and that took time to listen. We did have a comment from, I think, Alexandra K, just thanking us for going over, I think, what the ACRB is. So you're welcome for that. And thank you so much for joining us today. And if you all have any questions or would like to file a complaint, please send us a message to our website, www.acrbgov.org. You can give us a call at 404-865-8622. We're also on social media. All of our handles will be linked to the video. And I'm Melissa Jean Baptiste, Communications Specialist.
I'm Lee Reed, Executive Director of the ACRB.
I'm Kaylin Strahan, the newest member.
You did it. You joined in. You got it, Kaylin. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Kaylin, for joining. You all have a good night, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.